everybody. Welcome to episode 40 of the Yinzhers podcast. It's me, Jordan, here with Morgan and Sam. I think we've all had, it's Monday. We're recording on Monday, but I think that each of us have already had kind of a hellish week. But how's it going, Sam? Fill us in. Yeah.
Let's see. The last 24 hours of my life, I was suspended again from Twitter for no reason. And someone drove a car through my work building.
Don't lie, Sam. Abusive behavior. That's why you were suspended.
Why? I just have a question for Twitter. You gave me this account back just to resuspend it on Easter.
They're getting off on it at this point.
I want to just say, so many accounts get away with so much worse, but Sam, quoting Step Brothers to me, gets her banned for life for quote unquote abusive behavior. I take issue with that.
Permanently, yeah.
So Elon, if you're
it is fascinating.
There, yeah. These are our demands.
Yeah, we appeal to you,
we are sick
Elon.
of this.
God, yeah. So Sam's had a bit of a day. Morgan, how are you?
Oh, just one day at a time. Just taking one disaster after another. I moved this past weekend, and the movers were here or at my old place, moving into my new place for 11, count it, 11 hours. And I don't have a lot of stuff. Like, we don't have a lot of stuff. So if that tells you anything about how my weekend went, phenomenally. And then today, with just more bad news on the Steelers, we're just off to a swimmingly good start. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Tuesday if you're listening to the episode. We're glad you're here with us. We can all just, live in misery together. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need any advice on how to survive a miserable existence, go to Cleveland, ask a Browns fan.
They'll help you.
Report back.
They probably won't help you, but you can at least do some kind of a case study, and that will help you. Yeah, not a whole lot has happened with the Steelers and news. However, last week we talked about potential disruption in the relationship between Diontae Johnson and the Steelers, and how we heard that maybe he was going to be asking for way more money than he should be getting. And it's looking like the writing on the wall is starting to materialize, because he was complaining on Twitter and he removed different things. He was being very cryptic. He was being very all over the place. He was a no-show for the first off-season workout. So we as Steelers fans are very familiar with this kind of behavior. Unfortunately, we know what it looks like. We know the very early stages of it. So it doesn't look good.
True.
No. And I guess where are our heads with all of this, Morgan? Like, what are you thinking about? Is this pointing to something greater? Are we overreacting because we've been scorned in the past? What's going on here?
I mean, if we've learned anything, it's that history is doomed to repeat itself. And one too many times we have seen a position player dissatisfied with his existing contract or lack of movement on a new contract going into free agency or a few years ahead of free agency. We know what it looks like. Like you said, you put it so diplomatically. The writing is on the wall. It seems like things are materializing in a way that seems all too familiar to us. The PTSD is rearing its ugly head. I feel like we're all bracing ourselves for the inevitable at this point. Now, let's not get it twisted. It's one optional being the operative word here, optional off-season workout. Do we know in the past, has Diontae ever skipped the first optional workout of the off-season?
Yeah.
My guess, my assumption is that no, he is not. We've seen Diontae put in a lot of work in the off-season and really make it evident that he wants to make the effort to show up and be that guy, be wide receiver one. So I would be floored if we were wrong about this being the first time that he's missed the first optional workout of the offseason. But again, let's not let the semantics get away from us. It is the optional workout in the offseason. So while it does seem like, yes, this is leaning towards like a Le'Veon Bell, Mike Wallace kind of situation. And yes, we have been told from a source that is a possible, if not likely, outcome. I don't know that this is, I don't know that it's time to press the panic button yet. There are moves that he could be making. Maybe he could be trying to force someone's hand. Whether or not that's good or bad advice, I mean, I think we collectively know that that's not good advice. I don't think that you're going to bully Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert into working with you. I just don't see that happening. We've seen in the past that doesn't really work. So if you think you're special, DJ, go ahead and work, your agent's magic in that regard. But I don't know that this is the first indication of seeing like a repeat Le'Veon Bell. I do think that there's some valid concern there, though.
Yeah. Sam, what are you thinking with all this?
Same. Talking to said source, they're super concerned because without DJ, who do we have on the field? So, and honestly, regardless, I think the Steelers are going to look at the situation now and be like, we're drafting a wide receiver regardless. Like, we just know that as fans, there's no way that the Steelers do not draft obviously more than one, but a high round wide receiver. Looking at that, if the amount of money, if he wants $90 million guaranteed, there's just no way that the Steelers offer him that.
Maybe over 9 years.
There you go. World's longest contract.
Right? Like, we don't know what that spans, but I mean, even over 5 years, like I don't see him getting that from this team. Another team, maybe over that span, yes, because other teams will spend that money on wide receivers. The Steelers historically don't. We did one time. We saw what happened. Never again. So I also think that it's kind of rude, DJ, to like all of the sudden be doing this. When we let Juju go to another team, like maybe they would have handled the situation with Juju Smith-Schuster a little bit differently had they known that Diontae was going to pull these little AB antics, as Sam so lovingly puts them. I don't know. It's rude. Honestly, rude. So
not a fan. And honestly, I'm not really all that attached to the idea of the Steelers maintaining receivers, or not even maintaining, retaining receivers until they find their franchise quarterback, because they do draft really well. The carousel of receivers is a little bit concerning, because whenever you see a connection between a quarterback and a receiver like Ben and AB had, like, if you can find that, hold on to it. But at this point, we don't know who our quarterback's going to be long term. So if Deontay Johnson wants to go behave the way that it looks like he's going to be behaving, all right, fine. Like, I know that means that the Steelers are left with who at receiver, and that's kind of concerning. But at the same time, their whole offensive situation is sort of a concern still. Like, we don't know if Mitch Trubisky's going to be successful here. We don't know if he's going to be any good at all. And I would rather see the Steelers handle the financial piece of this with the long-term picture in mind, as opposed to being like, well, who else do we have besides Diontae if we don't pay him right now?
You're totally right, Jordan, because if you paid him, let's say almost, $20 million a year, and we don't have a stable quarterback for who knows, honestly, how long? We don't know. We're not guaranteed
what's the point?
To get, a franchise quarterback next season or even the season after. So you're just letting almost $20 million a year go to essentially waste, because our schedule's so hard this upcoming season. It makes me sick to look at that, but yeah.
and extremely valid. And I think that's probably where their heads are at right now. We have never necessarily been a team where the wide receiver room struggles without a veteran presence. We really haven't. I mean, like, because we draft that position so well, it's okay if we have a relatively young receiver room as long as there's a level of maturity there. I think your point about making sure we have our quarterback, our guy for the foreseeable future in place before we pay a wide receiver is the best point that I've heard made against paying a wide receiver today or to date. Because think about it. And what kind of message does this give us as far as what they think about Mason Rudolph? We saw the two wide receivers that Mason Rudolph had the best connection with. That's James Washington and that's Ray McCloud. We saw both of them walk. So what does that tell you about who they think the quarterback's going to be? Not Mason Rudolph.
Or let's also bring up the fact that Mason Rudolph did not show up to the Florida workouts when he had the opportunity to. Nobody is surprised, but
not at all.
None of the offensive players have a relationship with him. They don't. He's
so detached. He doesn't care to be connected to anybody.
But he
really
wants the job handed to him at the same time, which I think, how are you going to call yourself a leader? If you're a quarterback, I don't care how young you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. You are a leader in that locker room, whether you want to be or not. And what does that say to your position players when every single one of you shows up to a workout except you, and you still think that you're going to have a valid stake in the game? Like, you think that you really have a shot at that position? I think that he effectively took himself out of the running. And it wasn't a team event. I understand that. It was not a team sponsored workout, event, practice, whatever, camp. I actually don't care, because Mike Tomlin is aware that that's the decision that was made, that he didn't go. And I think that says all it needs to say. And, you know, I mean, we can be thrilled about that. I know I am. But I love how we just like seamlessly transitioned into discussion about Mason Rudolph. But I think that point that you made was so good, and it actually just lends itself so much to the argument that Mason really isn't their guy, and
he doesn't even try.
And he doesn't, and that's what makes it so frustrating, is that he has this attitude of entitlement, like I think you said, and he doesn't do anything that would even mimic behavior of a starting quarterback. Like, sure, you think that this job should be handed to you, but what do you think a starting quarterback should be doing? Don't you think that the starting quarterback would be at these events? Don't you think that the starting quarterback would want to show up to these practices, these optional things, these team building things? You jackass. Oh God, that guy.
I mean, even if you're salty that the new quarterback, the new guy has come in and, you know, immediately taken ownership of this team and immediately taken a leadership position and said, hey, I'm going to put together this workout for the guys that I need to get on the same page with. And I'm going to invite my competition as well, because at the end of the day, we're all Pittsburgh Steelers, right? What does that, of course, Mason, who's been like QB in waiting, or so he thinks, for so long, would take that so personally. But like, how do you not show up to that? Like, even if you're pissed that this new guy has come in and done that, how do you not swallow your pride and say, okay, well, if I want to be the guy, I need to be present.
I think that even goes just to show how, like, his maturity level in it. Like, you'd rather be petty and sit at home pissed off than go out there and put your skills on display. And I don't know, maybe try to build a rapport with your teammates. Instead, you're letting the new guy come in and build these relationships that you have not built in the years that they've been on the same team as you. Like, that speaks volume to your teammates too. Look who showed up and look who didn't. Look who wants the job and look who doesn't. That's how I would view it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And granted, he's probably pissed that James Washington and Ray Ray are no longer on the team. He's probably pissed because the statistics show, it's empirical evidence, they are his two best receivers. When Mason's in the game, those two thrive. Those are his go-to guys. And, you know, that probably sent the message to him, just like it sent the message to us that he's not the guy. So, you know, maybe he's taken himself out of the running, but God, get on Steelers Twitter and people are very opinionated about Mason Rudolph and his right to run this team.
Yes, because he was drafted by the team, therefore he should be the starter. Yeah, and there's a lot of other nonsense out there. This has been ongoing since the Browns signed Deshaun Watson, but there are just too many people. One person would be too many people linking Baker Mayfield to the Steelers should he and the Browns decide that they want to part ways.
Look at the distress on Jordan's face right now, everyone. If you're not listening to the audio and you're actually watching the video content right now, I want you to look at Jordan and feel her pain because she is all of us.
See me, because why? Why? It's literally only for the theatrics of it that people are even saying these things. Because if I think that I was talking to a Browns fan actually recently, and he said that he thought that Baker kind of overplayed his hand after the Browns sort of started showing interest in Deshaun, when Baker was like, you know what, that's it, fine, then trade me. And then the Browns were like, oh shit, we need to go above and beyond to get Deshaun then. And now Baker's kind of shit out of luck. Like, I don't think any of this was planned. I don't think any of it was really what was supposed to happen. So I don't want to say that like the Steelers always saw this coming and have been like, no, we're not going to get Baker. But I also feel like the Steelers are like, no, we're not going to get Baker. Why would they do that? What would the point be? He's going to be way too expensive. I don't think that it would just be a starting quarterback battle between him and Mitch for who is less sucky potentially. And why would you pay? Because he's going to want way too much money. Please don't touch him.
Absolutely not. All the only case study that needs to be done to refute all Baker to Pittsburgh ideas that are out there is look at Odell Beckham Jr. Guys, the man is a Super Bowl champion, and the only reason that he potentially would not be today is Baker Mayfield. That's the only reason. And so I don't understand, for the life of me, I will never understand why the rumors began that if the Browns cut Baker, the Steelers are going to jump on him.
Yeah,
of course, Skip Bayless.
God almighty. He wants to see that kind of chaos, therefore he's trying to manifest it, and it's just not going to happen.
It really is like the perfect example of like reporters just spouting bullshit for attention.
Yeah.
And that's really what this has turned into. But one person says it, and then the entire sports news media world runs with it.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here every single day hearing about everyone talking about Baker to the Steelers. And I'm like, what fresh hell did this come out of?
Yeah.
Is it the one where Dwight is the manager?
Co-owner.
The bed and breakfast with Satan? Because that's a world I don't want to live in. Why are you the way that you are, Skip? I hate so much about the things you choose to be.
Everything's so emotionally charged in the Steelers fan base that logic, anytime an emotional grenade is lobbed into the room like that, is just out the window. All logic, gone. Nope. Don't forget about the cap. Forget about the fact that Baker isn't that good. Forget about literally everything else that would point to the Steelers not touching him with any type of pull whatsoever. It's out there in the ether. It must be happening, and we have to fight and rage against it, or we will be stuck in this perpetual limbo. I don't know. People are wild, and that rumor is wild, and Lord help me if that happens. I might jump into one of the three rivers. Maybe I'll take turns jumping into each one. I don't know.
I call Monongahela. That's me. It's not going to happen, guys. I mean, we can talk about how annoying the reporters are and the media are for perpetuating this rumor, but it's not going to happen. We can all rest assured that Baker Mayfield will never wear the black and gold in Pittsburgh. So
praise
everybody.
Yeah. Oh Lord. So speaking of Twitter drama, Morgan, you were telling Sam and me about something before we started recording. Fill us in on that, because that sounds pretty wild as well.
Guys, I need you to listen to this story very closely, because the truth lies somewhere in the middle, right? There's always three sides of every story, and I guarantee you we're not hearing the truth from any of the involved parties. But let's get into it. The USFL Pittsburgh Maulers team has released running back Dejan Smith. Why, you ask? For ordering pizza instead of salad. You heard that right. He ordered pizza instead of salad. And now he has taken to social media to call out the organization because he believes the release was not justified. He thinks he's being used to make an example out of. I saw a tweet earlier asking if the Pittsburgh Maulers are the Cleveland Browns of the USFL. And can we please just not even put that out there? I don't want the association. It's a Pittsburgh team, we're Yinzhers. If it's a Pittsburgh team, we love them. So the Maulers did dispute his claim. And this was their statement. And I'm going to let the listeners decide for themselves, because like I said, we will never know the truth. We will never know the truth.
God, this is like a whodunit.
Oh my God. On the first episode of United by Football, the weekly USFL all-access docuseries on Fox, Dejan Smith was shown on camera being cut from our team by Coach Kirby Wilson. The show captures hundreds of hours of film with the intent of providing transparency to fans, but unfortunately, much of the context was left out in this moment. Smith had violated 3 team rules in a 24-hour span, and in this particular incident, disrespected a cafeteria worker, which wasn't captured on camera, even though thousands of hours were captured on camera. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. There have been too many instances in the real world recently where miraculously the 3 cameras that we needed weren't on at the time. So I don't trust it. Number one, likely story. Smith has subsequently reached out to Coach Wilson directly asking to be reinstated, and allegedly has apologized to the team for whatever rules he broke that they're not going to let us in on. What do we think? What do we think? Is pizza the real offender? Are we ordering pizza at lunch tomorrow and all getting fired collectively?
I don't know. It seems confusing and convoluted, and I feel like something else happened there that everybody's trying to cover up, because it was just that egregious that it's like I don't know. It's one of those instances where it makes so little sense that my brain short circuits trying to wrap itself around the story. Like, what? No, what? No, what?
I just think that the story is there's something we're missing something. What are the 3 rules he broke then? If you want us to trust that this alleged, series of broken rules actually happened, fill us in. Don't be so cryptic.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm assuming you're firing people because they order pizza for lunch, and that's it.
Yeah, because that's absurd.
Insane.
I don't know.
Insane. So, love that now that USFL has started, the Pittsburgh Maulers are the team with the drama. Love that. Love that for
Lord,
us.
help
Love
us.
that for our
Yeah.
city. 2 thumbs up.
God. Yeah. Oh man. And it is just like peak off season that is where our breaking news ends.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
For those of you listening on Tuesday, it's going to be a little too late for you to join, but starting this week, we are doing Yinzhers after hours after we record the show on Monday nights. So around 10 p.m. Eastern every single week. Hop on Twitter. You can join us, talk about, things we discussed in the episode, maybe get a little preview, and then potentially, discuss topics for next week. So definitely come join us. It's going to be a good time. Or it's going to be just
so
a really, really crazy bad time.
Chaos.
We're going to get shut down and Sam's going to get suspended on Twitter again. I don't know.
Whatever. Who cares? It'll be great. God.
Wrap it up.
Yep. Let's wrap it up before we get too far down the rabbit hole and away from after hours. It's been real as always. Thank you to Steelers Nation for joining us.
And don't forget to subscribe, whether it's on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, so we can kick it with you every single week. We'll see you next Tuesday for another episode of